Hi folks, today we're going to look at the 2018 New Aire. I already did a video on the 3343. This is the 3341. It was brought to my attention that around the country, actually the 3343 has been selling a little better. I said, well, clearly that's because I did a video on that one. I didn't do a video on this one. So I love this floor plan, so let's not let the 3341 feel left out. I like the paint on this one even better than on the last one that we did. I'm a big fan of the blacks and silvers and tans, and this is just a gorgeous paint job. So like always, this is the true Newmar masterpiece finish. Okay, you run your hand across there, you do not feel the lines. I'm not saying you don't feel them much, I'm saying you do not feel the lines. Try that on my competitors. Again, the New Aire is a true high-end short bus. This has no competitor in the marketplace. Nobody is doing a high-end short bus. Whenever they shorten it up, the manufacturers somehow equate short with cheap. And so for your people that want the high trim level, or maybe they have a big bus and they're used to the higher trim level, there's no options for them. When they go short, they go cheap. This is things that you're not going to see on other coaches. Independent front suspension. Okay, it's a heavy coach. This coach has a gross vehicle weight rating of 38,600. That is a heavy coach. Most short buses, 34-foot diesel pushers, they have a gross vehicle weight rating of 26,000. Folks, the heavier you are, the less you feel the semis around you and that type of thing. So this is a true heavy-duty bus. It's built on a very unique chassis. We'll get into that in a moment. It is a side radiator on a short bus. There's not another one out there. So you actually have engine access in here. This is the 360 engine with 800 foot-pounds of torque, V-ride suspension. Man, I know we're going to get into a lot of other things. Of course, it has the one-piece fiberglass roof. It has the tile floor. It has the heated floor. These are things that just aren't found in my competitors out there. This is a new segment of our marketplace, but it's already selling, so we know it's going to do great. One of the reasons it's doing so well is because Newmar really nailed it with the storage on this coach, and we're going to go around the outside compartments now and we're going to see what they did. It's very unique how they did it. I had a long talk with one of Newmar's engineers because it was blowing my mind what I was seeing and what I understood the chassis that this was being built on. Those two didn't jive, but as he told me, this was a clean sheet project for them. In other words, they weren't taking another coach and tweaking it or using front caps for this or rear caps for that. They could create this from scratch, and they were very, very excited to do it. And it's just made a wonderful, wonderful small bus for us. So let's take a look. The generator's running right now, but I don't think it'll interfere with our video. Of course, it's in the nose. All right, up front here, this is mostly Freightliner fuses and stuff like that. So this is built on a Freightliner chassis. Of course, Newmar put in some spare fuses there. And in fact, we'll go ahead and start at the front so we can get a good look, and we're going to look at the generator. All right. Up front, we actually have an 8,000 watt generator. Most short buses are going to have a 6,500 watt generator. This is actually an 8,000 watt generator. We also, if you look in there, we've got real air horns tucked away back there. And then between those two air horns, you see the hot water line to generator option. We option that in, and that's a wonderful little feature because if you want to clean bugs off your windshield, they clean a lot better with hot water than they do cold. So nice feature there. Want to make sure we got a shot of that. All right, let's work our way around this bus. We have 8 AGM batteries in here. AGM stands for absorbed glass matte. They are the high-end batteries. They hold a charge better. They deal better with the discharge state. A regular liquid battery, lead acid battery if you will, doesn't deal well with being discharged for long periods of time. That actually will kill the battery. These, it doesn't seem to hurt them much. It's not that you want to do it that way. You always want to keep them charged, but they deal with that, and they deal with the charging and discharging so much better, and you get better life out of these. So you'll like these, especially in a high-end application like this. All right. We get to start to see some of the storage in here, but really when we get around to the other side is when you can appreciate this. What amazed me was the height here. You know, we have a ceiling height that's pretty much the same as it is on a Dutch Star or Mountain Air. Inside there's a slight difference, but it's not noticeable, I will tell you that. The coach rides about the same height off the ground as those coaches, and yet this has a taller basement space, and it's 7-8 inches shorter than those coaches. How do you pull that off? In fact, I think it's 9 inches shorter than those coaches. How do you make a shorter coach with about the same interior height, do a taller basement in the same ride height? It didn't make sense, but like I said, there are reasons for what they did there. They were very smart on how they did their floors, on how they did their slide mechanisms. Your slide mechanisms are mounted above the floor, not below here, so you don't have them encroaching down into your basement space. They just really were thinking outside the box here. On this side, we have our 50 amp shore power cord on a reel, and that's a power reel, of course. And then you see the Oasis system next to it. The Oasis system is the hydronic heating that this coach has. Again, show me another 34-foot bus with hydronic heating. If it exists, it's news to me, because I've never heard of it, never seen it in all my years of doing this. You can see the dirt devils back in there above the cord reel, so that's good. You know, nice central vac system built into this coach as well. Let's move on back a bay. This is our wet bay. In our wet bay, first thing I notice is that we do have a whole house water filtration system, so every drop of water that comes through this coach goes through that filter, whether you're on city water or whether you are on running off your fresh water tank. That's a wonderful feature. Secondly, you've got your power hose reel down here. Instead of having your freshwater hose all coiled up in the bottom there, you actually have its own little spot for it, and it's on a power reel. That's good. We have a water tap out here to this side as well, and hot and cold water on a shower head. So lots of features there. I love being able to check my tank levels out here. I don't have to go inside to do that. Of course, you have a black tank flush, you would expect that. And then some other features that you may not pick up on. This guy right here, this is a SantaCon system. Now, a SantaCon system, not everybody has a need for one, but they're handy as heck when you need it. If you're always camping in campsites where you pull up and, you know, there's your termination point on your coach, and your dump at the campsite is right here, well, quite frankly, you don't need a SantaCon system for that. You know, let gravity do its thing, use the big hose, and go on about your business. But some people like to store their coach in a building, or sometimes they're in a situation where they need to dump their tanks, but they need to go a longer distance. With the SantaCon system, you can actually hook it's got a hose on it that's probably 20 feet long, and then you can hook a garden hose to the end of that. I think if my numbers are correct, you can go up to 200 feet, even uphill with a SantaCon system. I think those numbers are correct. It's been a while since I read the specs on that, but somebody can correct me, and they will in the comments below if I got that wrong. But that's what a SantaCon system does. It actually grinds it and shoots it, so you can dump to a much farther away place and into a smaller hole. You don't have to have the big hole to dump into. This little clear tube right here is actually for your winterization. That makes winterization a breeze. And then we have our autofill selector on here, where you can set the tanks to autofill. And what that means is that while you're plugged in at a campground, it will actually keep your tank mostly full, pretty much all the way full. And the idea of that is twofold. When you get ready to leave, you got a nice full tank, so that's good. But also, if you're in a campground with a low pressure situation, you can turn on your water pump as well as your city water pressure, and kind of double your pressure that way and get a little more powerful shower out of it. I had never thought of using it that way. Actually, a customer pointed that to my attention. I'm like, that's a really good idea. It's where I get all my good information. None of this is original, folks. All right, we see our little exhaust down there. That is actually for the hydronic heating system. We see our entry door here. Our emergency exit door. I'll get this right here, and I'll show you how that works right now. Give me one moment. All right, the emergency exit door. Newmar came up with this a couple of years ago, and you know, it was a great idea at the time, and really nobody else was doing it. Instead of climbing out head first through a window, they came up with a door, and I would much rather jump out here. Sure, I'm 5 feet off the ground or so, but I'd much rather jump out here than go out a window head first in the case of an emergency. But Newmar took it one step further this year and added the telescoping ladder. You pull this panel, this is just magnetic, and it goes right back on. There's just Velcro here, and then flip this down. I'm going to do it slowly, but in the case of an emergency, I'd be doing this much quicker. How about that? Now you've got a handle here. You can easily climb down this without hurting yourself, and you're on to safety. What a great idea, and it just goes to show you that Newmar is always pushing the envelope as far as safety goes, and they're thinking of things that other companies aren't thinking of. I hope that's as impressive to you as it is to me. This door, by the way, it does lock, but there's almost no reason to, except to maybe keep somebody in, because on the outside there's not even a door handle on the outside, so it's a very secure setup. All right, let's move on. Okay, I did forget to point out a little up there behind the front wheels, it is a dual fuel fill on this coach, so you can fill from either side. Sometimes, you know, I know all of the Newmar diesel pushers are that way. I know that not all coaches are, so I forget to point out the little things sometimes, so I do apologize when I miss those. We do have docking lights here in case you get a little too close to the picnic table, well, to keep you from getting a little too close to the picnic table when you are backing into your campsite. These are the Newmar flush mount slides. Instead of having a piece of plastic or fiberglass here to cover this gap, they recess back into the wall. That's not going to catch wind, that's not going to catch water, it's not going to give you the noise that you would normally have. These are power window awnings as well, and I'll get those open and we'll get at least a shot of that before we're done here. All right, this is our DEF tank. DEF stands for diesel exhaust fluid. This is basically any diesel made since 2010 needs to have this. The diesel exhaust fluid keeps us emission compliant, makes these engines very, very clean. In some cities, these actually clean the air as you go through them. Diesels nowadays are just ridiculously clean. This tank, you use about a gallon of this for every 50 gallons of fuel that you use. So it's not a big expense to you or anything, but you do have to fill it every now and then. Of course, there's a gauge for it, so you don't run out, and make sure you don't run out. Then this little compartment right here, that's for your sewer hose. So you can store your sewer hose right in there. And it's not in with your freshwater hose, which I think we can all agree, that's good. Talked about it briefly earlier. This is the side radiator package, which means when I go around to the back and show you the engine, you know what you'll be able to see? The engine. When you have a rear radiator, you cannot see the engine. You can't get to the engine. You can't change belt. You can't do any of that. It's a cheaper way to build a coach, and I understand why they do it. And even Newmar does it on some of their coaches, but given the choice, most RVers would definitely prefer to have this on the side over here where it's always getting fresh air. One thing we did option in on this coach was the chrome package down across the bottom. You know, it's not a cheap option, actually. It's a little more than I would think that it would be, but I love it. It just makes the coaches stand out so much. When you're dealing with this high end of a coach, it deserves that package. All right, moving on. Back here we have that 360 horsepower Cummins Diesel with 800 foot-pounds of torque, and get up in there with the camera and we'll actually be able to see the engine. What a rare thing in diesel pushers today. Of course, you've got real good access back here to different filters and your water separator and that type of thing. You can see your air filter gauge on here that tells you when you need to change that. You can actually, over here is your Oasis bottle. That's your boiler antifreeze that the hydronic system uses. By the way, when I said this is actually a big boy diesel in a little package, this coach will flat tow 10,000 pounds. So if you've got a heavy SUV or you want to tow your pickup truck behind you and flat tow it and it weighs more than 5,000 pounds, well, that's going to make it untowable by most of the diesel. Well, by any other diesel of this size, it's not towable. This one will absolutely do it. So that's what's nice about this coach. I'm going to drop that back down, get a great shot of that rear cap. You see that it's a very tall rear cap, and you've actually got that rear wing, I guess you might call it, up there. That kind of brings you in line height-wise. We'll come around to this side of the coach. It brings you in line height-wise with the fact that you've got Girard awnings on this coach. Awnings, instead of being bolted to the side of the coach, are molded up into the top rail of the coach. That is just such a much better high-end bus look than having something just bolted to the side of your coach. You'll love the Girard awnings. We're going to open all the awnings on this coach here in a minute, but let's get back to our compartments. Back here we can actually see a couple things. We have the chassis batteries, that's what starts your engine. We have the chassis disconnect back here, that actually shuts the coach off in a storage situation. And then down below you have the all-in-one emission filter. This is part of the after treatment for the engine. That's your diesel particulate filter and your DEF filter all in one. All right, moving on. A little bit of storage there. They tried to utilize every inch of space on this coach. Now here is where this coach just blew my mind, is in these next compartments. Gonna open them up. Because if you blindfolded me, walked me up to this coach and showed me this much storage, I'd be thinking, wow, this is a high-end coach. This must be a 40-footer. I would never in a million years dream it's a 34-foot coach. This is equivalent to about a 40-foot Dutch Star's worth of storage in here. It's ridiculous. The height is even better than that on a 40-foot Dutch Star. The nice part about the New Aire is it's a mountain air trim level with King Air electronics and storage like a Dutch Star. It's really impressive in that fashion. Now we did put in the power trays on here. We know sometimes people have a little bit of trouble bending over and it's just not comfortable for them anymore. Pressing a button's nice, so both of these trays are actually power. You can see sitting on the left tray there, you actually have some spare tile just in case down the road you drop a skillet or something in there and you crack one of your tiles. These tiles came out of the same batch, same box as the tile that's in the coach, so you'll have a perfect dial-out match. On the right you see the Maxim tools. Those are for your Dirt Devil, so your central vac. In this compartment over here, you see some electronics there on the wall. The top one, the black Dometic box, that's actually the controller and the wind sensor for your awning that is over the door. And then below that, those little white boxes, those are actually the controller for your Girard awnings, which there are two of those, so you do have two controls. These compartments are all lit with LEDs. I forgot to turn them on, my bad, but it's daytime, so we don't need them. All right, let's move on. Shut this. Look what we have here. In a coach this short, they actually made room for the all-in-one refrigerator freezer. That is outstanding. This actually pulls out a little farther. Okay. This is a refrigerator or a freezer, your choice. You set it to where you want it. And then this just pushes back in and out of the way. Then we have the Xantrex 3000 watt pure sine inverter that will run all your electronics and protect all your electronics on the inside. Inverters do the opposite of converters. Inverters take 12 volt DC current and change it to 110 volt AC current. So you can run your microwave, you can run your electronics inside. Most of the outlets are hot. Just off of the inverter, you don't even have to have your generator running for a lot of these applications. Now, if you want to run your roof air, okay, gotta have the generator running for that. But just for running TVs and microwaves and stuff like that, you can actually power it off the inverter when you're going down the road. All right, I love this new feature for 2018. What in the world is that? I bet that's what you're thinking. Let me show you. This guy slides right in here. That's your flagpole. That's an option. We brought it in for all of our 2018s. It's an option throughout the Newmar line. And bring your own flag, shove it right down in there. You're not bolting or zip tying something to your coach at that point, so that makes it a lot nicer. Okay, I promised you we're gonna open up some awnings. Let's do that now. All right, we have them fully opened up now. We have the two Girard awnings. That's our main awnings here. They come down at a great pitch, so you've got tons of shade, hardly any gap in between them here. In fact, there's not even really a change in the shadow that they put on the concrete here. So wonderful space. The whole side of your coach is awning, so you'll love those. Got a nice little over-the-door awning, so if it's sprinkling, getting in and out on you, you aren't going to get wet every time you transfer from under this awning to under this one. Wonderful shade for the inside and protects your furnishings from too much sunlight getting on them on this side. And let's walk around to the other side because we have a couple on there as well. These are all electric, so it's just pressing buttons. And then 1, 2, 3 awnings over here. And those are the acrylic awnings, not the vinyl. So that's the nicer material. It's a little more breathable. So there we go. This is this coach fully expanded. It looks like it's ready to take flight. All right, I know you want to see the inside. Let's go do that now. All right, one of our most popular requests is to always show the coach with the slides in. And again, that came from my YouTube watchers. So if you make requests, I do try to honor them. I appreciate it when you ask me to do a video on a particular item. I will always try to honor that request. Understand, I don't have every Newmar floor plan of every model in stock. So sometimes that's a tricky one. Somebody, ask for a specific model of a Dutch Star or something, and we just don't have it. So I can't conjure one up. But if it's here, I will always do it. Please remember, like our page, subscribe to like our video and subscribe to our page. That helps us out. That's one of two requests we have. The other one is, don't forget to ask for me. I love it when somebody buys from one of my co-workers and said, oh, there's the guy on the video. I'm like, great, thanks a lot. This is how I make my living. So sometimes that's not clear. Anyway, as we walk through here, notice you do have a nice aisleway through here. This is a 4-slide coach, so whenever you squeeze from both sides, you're going to get squeezed a little bit in the middle. But this has very nice seating and still a nice walkway. I can walk right through here, no problems. Okay, get all the way back. Of course, one of the things we might want to get to is a refrigerator going down the road. That's easy. Through here, and then we're into the bathroom. Big shower here, and easy access to the bathroom while going down the road. Now you can also get back to the bedroom. You could lay on this bed. The entire bed is available to you. It's a queen size bed, so you could stretch out on there and sleep going down the road just fine. All right, let's open this up so you can see what it looks like once camp is set up. All right, we are inside of our 2018 New Aire 3341. A lot to talk about here. This is going to be one of our longer videos just because on the outside there was a lot to cover, and I want to make sure we're as thorough as we can be. This is a new coach, and on the inside there's a lot to cover. First of all, it does not feel like you're in a small coach when you walk in. This coach is legitimately under 34 feet long. It's 33 feet and change. So it is a true short bus, but it is high end like nobody else is doing. This is a Mountain Air trim level with King Air electronics on a short bus, and that's just unheard of. So let's start. I really think the cockpit's probably the area to start on this one. We'll start at the front and work our way back. A lot to talk about up here. Okay, first of all, it has all the features that you would expect a Newmar to have from their other diesels. Comfort drive, first and foremost. If you're not familiar with comfort drive, I don't want to get into that too much now. It is an absolute game changer. Everybody's diesels drive well, Newmars drive better. Don't believe me? Come try it. If you want the short answer for this or the short information on this, there's a video right next to this one if you're on our page at mountcomfortrv.com watching this video. Right next to this, there'll be a video we did on comfort drive, and it's the same on all the diesels. So we did it that way so we don't have to do the comfort drive portion of this every single time. So please watch the video. Let's start over here on the driver's left. You have, of course, the leveling system. This is an HWH hydraulic leveling system. Fully automatic. Just hit the auto level button and it does the rest. First of all, it dumps the air, then it levels the coach. Step up here, we have the Allison transmission. This is the 3000 series transmission, not the 2500. That's important because if this was a 2500 series transmission, this coach would only tow 5,000 pounds. So the reason we can flat tow 10,000 pounds is because they actually stepped up, because this is a true high-end bus, and put the 3000 series transmission in. We have a traction control override on here. I suppose you could use that if you're in a loose gravel situation and having trouble getting the coach going and the traction control's kicking in. You can actually, that's a momentary button, you can hold that down and use that to work your way out. You have a power driver's window over here, which it's funny that most diesel pushers do not have a power window. That cracks me up, but they don't. This one does. And then we have our engine brake off and on right here. So that's right here, very easily reached by the driver. You do have two cup holders here as well. Okay, we have a charge port. This is kind of new for Newmar this year, where we have actually a USB on the driver's side, and then there's an 1/8 inch jack in. So if you wanted to come off your phone and hook into listen to Pandora or something like that, that's an input for the radio. But you could do that through the Bluetooth as well. So I don't think we'll be using that as much in the future. Right here, I'm gonna put my phone up there. Give it a moment. Come on, cooperate. There we go. See the green light come on and my phone says charging. So that is a QI charger, or a wireless charger. There's one on the driver's side of this coach. There's also one on the passenger over by the armrest there. So if you have Samsung phones, it probably already does it. If you have other Androids, it probably already does it. If you have an iPhone, it won't do it, except there's a special case you can buy to put on your iPhone and will enable the wireless charging. I love it. So I have that at home. I have basically a little pad like that sitting where I charge my phone. So I use it every night. Okay, over here to the driver's left, we have the battery boost switch. The battery boost switch is actually, if you ran your batteries down, you left your headlights on or something and you killed your chassis batteries, you can actually start your coach by pressing this switch in and using the house batteries to start your engine. You have your headlights on and off over here, your bright and dim switch over here, your dome light is over here as well, and flashing your high beams is there. I'm on the dash also, as well as we've got heated mirrors and power mirrors, and of course your parking brake. Your comfort drive system is over here also, your control for that. And our tilt wheel's down on the floor, left foot does that. And this is all your coach controls right here. This is a little different than other smart wheels that are out there. First of all, this is push button start. That's all new for 2018 on the New Aire. So there we go, just like that, we're running. Foot on the brake and hit the button. Look at this dash light up. Try to get the steering wheel out of the way. It's all digital. Lots to see on there. Now this new system, I told you it has like King Air electronics in it. This actually has the on-guard collision avoidance system in it, where it is adaptive cruise technology. It will pace the vehicle in front of you. If that vehicle suddenly stops and you're not paying attention, it can actually apply the brakes to the coach as well. Obviously, it's not something we want to play with, but it's a great emergency feature. I'm not demonstrating that feature, by the way, nor have I tested it. But it's nice to know that it's out there, to where in the event that you weren't paying attention, the coach actually is. So that's a wonderful feature. I've never seen that on another motorhome. All right, definitely wanted to fire that up and show the dash though. Our camera control over here, this is outstanding. There are 4 cameras on the outside of this coach. What does the overhead shot here, this that you see right here, that's actually all 4 cameras, and then the computer stitches them together in the corners, which is really, really neat. Right now that shot looks a little off. That's because our slides are open and our awnings are out, and that's messing with the cameras a little bit. You can choose any one of the 4 cameras to kind of look at here. There's what's in front of us right now. Then I can choose behind us, and then right side, that's out under the awning. Left side, well, that one's not going to show much, it's under a window awning. And then kind of from your side cameras, you can see as well. So I guess there's 6 cameras on the outside of this coach if we count those. So just a ridiculous amount of camera control here. There's out both sides. The 360 is obviously my favorite. That just shows you, especially when you're driving it, what's around you at any given time. These are adjustable pedals on this coach, so you can move them in and out, and they're actually an automotive style pedal. I don't know if we can see that in the shot, but they're not a truck style pedal, is the main thing on there. Of course, we have dash fans up top, high and low on those. We have and those are hidden, by the way, you don't see those. Those are actually extra defrost fans is what they are. Our visor controls for up front and our front shader right here. Our docking lights, entry locks can be controlled right here. I can lock and unlock the door. Interestingly enough, for 2018, on all the diesels that have the power locks, when you put the coach in drive and release the brake, it automatically locks the entry door. So that's nice. Our air horn controls up here. So our dash air control is down here in the center, as well as another 12-volt port, and then storage drawers here, And these seats do both rotate around, and they are both recliners. So when on a 34-foot coach, I think that's important. If you have a 43-foot coach, I think it probably doesn't matter that much. But on a 34-foot coach, I think it definitely matters. And both these seats rotate around, and they are recliners. Nice grab handle when you come in and out of this coach. You've got one here, and then one on the side. Okay, and then the passenger has some good controls here as well. They control the step cover. Oh, I forgot to show. Should have showed coming in. Now I'm gonna have to climb down in the hole. There's storage in these steps. Okay, that lifts up. These are Corian. Okay, that one lifts up as well. If I'd have shown that coming in, I wouldn't have to climb like that, but I forgot. All right. So we've spent 10 minutes on this coach and we're still in the cockpit. It's probably driving some of the people mad that really don't care about the cockpit. All right, here we go. Let's take a look around. This is a beautiful tile. This is a heated tile floor. It is gorgeous. It's a nice kind of a gray color. They've laid the tiles on the angle and staggered them, which just looks outstanding throughout. There's no carpet in this coach, not on the slides, not anywhere. It's carpet free. People love that. We have wonderful flex steel furniture in here as well. This sofa does make into a bed. This is the tri-fold sofa. Okay. New for this year, this is the new cabinet color for this year, and this is the high gloss version of that. This is called Bermuda Glazed Maple, and all of the cabinet colors this year you can get in a matte finish or in the high gloss. This is the high gloss. We have, again, a feature you just don't see in other short buses. This is actually multiplex lighting throughout the coach. This coach has somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 pounds of gross of cargo carrying capacity. So, like I said, the 38.6 is the gross vehicle weight rating. The coach weighs about 32,000 pounds. So, it's a crazy amount, especially for a short bus that's a heavy bus. It is a crazy amount of gross vehicle weight rating for this coach. But they didn't want that customer that is used to having a really high-end bus, whether it's in a Allegro bus or a American Eagle or a Mountain Air, a Dutch Star, a King Air, doesn't matter, that's used to a 45 foot bus coming down to this. They didn't want them to suffer on storage, and they didn't want them to suffer on amenities. They wanted the same features that they were used to on those buses, and so it has it. So you don't have to think about those things, and they didn't want you to have to think about, well, I can't take this stuff with me because I don't have enough cargo carrying capacity. Guess what? It has enough cargo carrying capacity. All right, let's get to some entertainment here. We have a televator right next to the booth. By the way, this booth is extremely comfortable, and I get the question from time to time, can I get a table and chairs in here? Well, you know, this is Newmar, and they're very customizable, and they're very open to such things. There's usually lots of dinette options. So can you get a table and chairs in here? Absolutely not. Not going to happen. Don't ask. Can't do it. There are structural reasons why that can't happen in regards to where the, not structural, but I guess in regards to where the slide mechanisms are, because part of the slide control and mechanisms are under these booths. So you get a booth. There are two different booths available. One makes a bed, one does not. The one that makes a bed is nice, but it's not as comfortable as this one. This is the Euro booth, and it's actually more comfortable. So wonderful booth. If you'll notice in here, these drawers aren't necessarily as deep as what you would think. There is storage in there, which is good, but you think that might be a foot deep. They're not, and that is why. There are things under here that cannot be relocated. This was done, they had to commit to that very, very early because they wanted to give great exterior storage. That great outside storage I showed you earlier, that is because of relocating slide mechanisms and controls and stuff like that to underneath this booth. That was something they had to commit to and stay with it. So unfortunately, no table and chairs options for this. That's the bad news. Now here's the good news. If you're open-minded, I encourage everyone to try a booth. I understand that booths aren't necessarily the most popular dinette for everybody in the diesel pusher arena. I think part of that comes from early on when they were doing diesel pushers. They were taking these booths that were out of travel trailers. They were built out of 1x2s and plywood, and they put a foam cushion on them and called it a booth. But they were uncomfortable as all get out. You sat in them and your belly was up against it, and you had no room, and they were hard. This is real furniture. This is inner springs underneath this seat. This is comfortable. I'm not a small guy. Look at the clearance I have here. This is actually much more comfortable than a table and chairs. I'd argue till I was blue in the face on that. This is not an uncomfortable seat by any stretch of the imagination. You do gain some storage under there, and it looks great. This table does pull out. There's a leaf back in the back closet as well, so you can add some extra space here if need be. But for the most part, this is this coach is built for 2 people. Like I say, it'll sleep 4, but it's built for 2. Let's take a look at some of the storage in here, because just like on the outside, they wanted to maximize the storage. So I'm going to open up some cabinets and just let Tony get some good shots here all the way around. Even up in the cockpit area, there's good storage. Okay. All right, and then some of these I couldn't open because you can't open them all at the same time. There we go, there's good storage there. And there's some side storage here. All right. So you can see they kind of put cabinets everywhere. One nice thing that Newmar's done across the line is they got rid of the Sony unit, which Sony's a wonderful unit, but it was a big home theater system. It was just physically big, not necessary for an RV. They went to the Bose system this year, which is a much smaller system. Eliminates a head knocker here that was on previous coaches, and you can kind of see that Bose soundbar right there. Tony right on time with that. This compartment has your Blu-ray player in it, and this is all pre-wired for whatever satellite receiver you want to put in. This coach does have the in-motion satellite dish on it as we speak. Okay, let me close these cabinets. You have beautiful day and night versions of these shades here, and they are of course power. These are a roller style shade. They're not the true day-night shade, the pleated shade that everybody hates. These are actually a nice roller shade, and they are power. We do keep them down when we're filming just because the changing of the light really messes with the camera and kind of messes us up a little bit. So this is the day shade that's down. There's a true blackout shade that comes down as well. So that's just a press of a button to make that happen. Of course, you come back to the kitchen. We have a wonderful Corian throughout. Newmar does all this in-house. We lift this up. We actually have an undermount cooktop. That's a 2-burner cooktop. Okay, and it's actually removable. You can take that out and take it outside and plug it in and cook outside if you want to. So if you haven't tried induction yet, I encourage it. I have it at home and I love it. One big sink. It's deep, it's wide, it's stainless, and it's undermount, so the Corian covers it nicely. Good countertop space for a small coach back here. And of course you have a pull down sink sprayer. All right, let's get to kitchen storage. Okay, this is an adjustable shelf in here, so you can move that up or down accordingly. So that's some good storage there. And then look here, nice pull out trash can drawer. They always forget the trash can drawer, it seems like, and I love that they did not on this coach. This flips down, this opens up. Okay, that's good pots and pans storage back there. That goes all the way to the back wall. That's deep. Note there seems to be some light coming from back there. They put some LEDs in. Deep drawers here. Okay, and then nice drawers here, 3 of them. Now you can option in the dishwasher on this coach and you would lose 2 of these 3 drawers. Dishwasher is always a tricky option for us because 50% of the people want it and the other 50% say, man, why would you give up that much storage space? And both of them think the other group is crazy. So it's a tough one for those of us who spec out these coaches because we never know what the next customer through the door is going to want. On a 34-footer, our logic was people would probably rather have the storage. So we went with that. I can order you one with a dishwasher in it. I could probably modify this one if we needed to. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We have a 30-inch residential convection microwave here. All right. Look at our Samsung refrigerator, all LED lights. I love it. With a pull-out freezer. With an ice maker. Okay. Pantry, and a nice pantry. Notice again, it's lit. They did a nice job with the LED lighting in there. These are pull-outs, but they are adjustable in height, so you can change the height to whatever you prefer. Okay. All right, and then one of the big differences between the two New Aire floor plans is the bathroom setup. You have a side bath in the other one. This one you have a center bath, what we call a split bath. Now, nice part with the split bath is you have a pocket door here and you have a pocket door here. So I'll close this one to demonstrate. And man, that's a good looking door. And then you can close this one as well. And this all creates one big area here that is like one big kind of bathroom suite, if you will. So if you've got both of them closed, you actually have room in here to get dressed. So that's nice. But let's, I'm going to try to step aside a little bit and let Tony get in there. All right, you can see the door that we demonstrated from the outside. There's the egress door on the inside. Nice undermount sink, good storage in here, nice size medicine cabinet. All right, and I've been chastised on the comments to always open all the compartments. Oh, look, there's a plug in there. Well, see, that's why you always open all the compartments. I didn't know that was there. So look at all our storage. And this one gets even more difficult because, Tony, I'm going to open it and I'll let you get in there. There's storage. As you come in and kind of do 180 degrees, there's more storage. So again, Newmar used every square inch for this coach. All right. Let's continue on to the bedroom. Nice size television. That's got to be pushing a 40-inch. So I didn't read that that's a 40-inch, but that's what it looks like to me. It's at least 36. I promise you that. Nice size TV for the bedroom. Storage above and below. We have the 3 compartments here. Now again, this one would be for a satellite receiver. It already has your Blu-ray in it. Good storage there, and then 6 drawers down below. You have to utilize all your space, but look at the size of these drawers. I mean, and there's 6 of them. That's outstanding. Queen size bed. There is no king bed option. Again, we're dealing with a coach that's under 34 feet long. And I know one of the things you run into with RVs is everybody wants a 34-footer on the outside, but a 45-footer on the inside. That's obviously a tough request for us. Folks, it's under 34 feet long. It is a wonderful walk-around queen. You've got room on both sides, but it is a queen bed. Now, we do have outlets on both sides. I always get that question. Little shelves on both sides, so anybody that has a little CPAP machine or anything like that, there's room for you. This little guy right here, if I hadn't spent some time in RVs, I wouldn't have really realized how neat this little feature is. First of all, it diffuses the light, but still gives you some light, or gives you some privacy and some light, which is nice. You can see your window awning open out there. But secondly, and maybe this is just me, because obviously I am hair challenged, follically challenged. You didn't need to zoom in. But when I've been asleep in a coach before and it's cold outside, you actually can get, even though they're dual pane windows, you can get a fair amount of cold air radiating off of those. This just puts one more layer between you and the windows, so that's actually a really nice feature. Okay. Storage above, and there's 4 of those, so the other 2 look about like these 2. And then we have a full rear wardrobe and washer dryer on the back wall. There's our leaf for our table down low. Again, notice we have LED lighting built in back here. Okay. There's a cabinet here. This actually has your circuit breakers in it. Your safe is over here. Sorry, Tony, I'm randomly bouncing around. All right. Circuit breakers and everything for the coaches here. Yeah, you don't need to see that. And then stackable, not an all-in-one washer dryer like you might expect in a coach of this size. This is actually a Whirlpool stackable washer dryer, built in. All right, let's back up to the living room. I skipped an area right this way. Let's talk about Silverleaf. Okay, Silverleaf is the next generation of coach controls. Everything being built into kind of one little box. Nice thing is, you know, just like we're all getting used to tablets and phones and all of that, this kind of works the same way. We're on our home screen now, okay? And on our home screen, we can see, without touching anything, this stays illuminated. You can dim it down, but this stays illuminated. And you can see, it dims a couple different ways. You can dim it way down. See, you learn something when you play with this stuff. I can see my fresh gray and black water tanks, and instead of it being, you know, 1/3 full, 2/3 full, which is pretty vague at best, it's down to percentage wise, and they're accurate within a couple percent, which is good. That's why they're bouncing back and forth between 0 and 2 right now. They are empty as we speak. I can switch over to AC power. This tells me what type of power is coming into the coach right now. We're actually, we have 2 legs coming in from the generator, 123 and 122 volts, but we're only using about 20 amps right now because the only thing running is the charger and some lights, so that's easy. DC power tells me my battery is absorbed charging. I'm up to 12.9 volts, which is good. Batteries were pretty low on this when I started it this morning, so I wanted to run the generator to get some charging going on. It's telling me exactly what's going on. I'm up to I'm charging at 135 amps right now. And also your battery temperature, that's kind of neat. You know, that would alert you if something was getting really hot. We have the gen set. It's telling us that it is running. Even tells us how many RPMs it's running at. I don't know why that's handy, but I like to know that stuff, but I'm geeky like that. I can start and stop the generator from here, as well as from on the dash, as well as on the generator itself. So several different ways you can do that. And this coach does have auto generator start. Auto generator start, AGS if you will, that is a feature you can set up if your coach is in storage. If the voltage drops low, you can have it come on. The generator will start itself, run for 3 hours to charge your batteries back up. You can also set it to a certain temperature. If you're away from your coach, and you can set it to, hey, if it gets warmer than 72 degrees in here, have the generator start up so the air conditioner can run. So obviously these features aren't handy when you're plugged in at a campground necessarily, but certainly they're very handy if you're camping in a Walmart parking lot for the night. All right, there's my water. If I want to get a better view of what's going on there, I hit water, and again, you can see your fresh gray and black tanks. You can also turn your water pump or your autofill on from here. Climate control, well, that's an important one. Heating and cooling is controlled in here, as well as the controls for the Oasis system, which is the hydronic system. The Oasis system can either be fueled by the diesel burner or by 2 different legs of AC power. If you're plugged into 50 amp, you can actually run that off 2 legs of AC power and be a pretty darn efficient system. Okay, we switch here. This is our floor heat. We have front, which appears to be on. I don't think I need that on. There we go. And so, no wonder it's warm in here, Tony. Front, rear, and mid floor heat, and the controls are in here. So that's a little bit about the Silverleaf system itself. There's clocks and special diagnostics, and you can configure the monitor and all that good stuff. But if we get any further in that, I'm going to get lost, so I will certainly lose you. And again, no need for the water pump to be on. So there we go. That's a little bit about this coach. I hope you've enjoyed it, and like I said, don't forget, please ask for me. Any questions on the New Aire, I will be glad to answer them. My name is Chris Anderson. I'm with Mount Comfort RV. Thank you for watching. All right, first of all, I've lost my microphone. Cut.